I didn't cry that night. I just sat there on the edge of our bed, my hands resting on my lap, fingers still smelling like cinnamon shampoo. The room was quiet, except for the soft hum of the heater and the distant dripping tap I always forgot to fix. He didn't look at me. He never did lately, just changed into his black sleep shirt, tossed his phone on the nightstand and faced the other side. I waited. I always did. For a word, a glance, a breath that meant something. But nothing came, not even scent. He masked it again. Every day now he wore blockers like cologne. As if mine disgusted him. As if my heat clung to the walls like a curse he was too proud to name. I pulled my knees up, burying my face there. I didn't want to scent the air either. It was cold, hollow, like we were strangers with matching marks burned into skin we stopped believing in. Sometimes I'd whisper to myself in the dark, just my name, just to remember someone still said it. That night he finally spoke. Not loud, not cruel, just quiet. I didn't ask for this bond. I froze. The sentence didn't echo, it just sat there, like dead weight in the room, like smoke with no fire. I didn't breathe. My heat was close. I felt it coiling beneath my skin, slow and traitorous. I didn't want it to come. Not now. Not for him. He turned away. Blanket rustled. He slept easy after that. I didn't. I stayed sitting for hours, staring at the empty wall. My scent was faint, controlled, medicated. I'd learned how to vanish even when I was present. And maybe that's when it started. The vanishing. Next morning I cooked breakfast. He didn't eat, just grabbed his bag, avoided my eyes, and left. No goodbye, no scent exchange, just silence. I stood by the window, watched him walk down the street, tall and confident like nothing was breaking behind him. I touched my gland. It was warm. Not glowing. Not calling. Just pulsing like a bruise. I used to think mates felt each other. That if one hurt, the other would ache too. But he didn't ache. Maybe he never did. That evening, I didn't greet him at the door. I stayed in the bathroom, holding the suppressants under my tongue. The bottle was half full. I stared at it, wondered how many days I could last. Wondered if he'd notice if I forgot. He didn't knock. Just came in, showered, and slept. No scent. No bond pole. No heat sink. Nothing. I was invisible. In my own home. In his arms. I started counting days. In my mind. In the calendar I kept in the drawer. Red dots for the nights he turned away. Blue ones for the days he didn't speak. After 2 weeks the page was full of color, but not a single scent memory. One night, he got a call. He laughed. It was the only sound I'd heard from him in days. I stood at the doorway, bare feet cold on the tiles, watching his back as he chuckled into the receiver. His scent flickered, warm, sweet, light, for someone else. My heart didn't break. It stopped. And that's worse. Because pain feels alive. This was emptiness. He turned slightly, saw me, said nothing, just ended the call and went to bed. That night I opened my old storage box, found the scent blockers I hadn't touched in months. The same ones I threw away when he marked me. Funny. I kept them anyway. I packed quietly over the next days. A hoodie, my ID, one suppressor, no scent items, nothing that would lead back to him. I didn't even take the mating certificate, let it rot in the drawer where all dead things sleep. The day I planned to leave, I made tea. His favorite, jasmine green with a pinch of lemon. He didn't drink it, left it on the table. I sat across from the cup long after he left, watching the steam disappear, slow, soft, unnoticed, like me. That evening, I changed into neutral clothes, covered my gland, wore the strongest blockers I could buy. My scent was gone. My presence erased. I didn't leave a note, didn't take anything that belonged here. I just opened the door, stepped out, and walked. No one stopped me. Not even him. Because no one noticed. Not even him, and that's the part that broke me most. Not the rejection. Not the silence. Not even those cruel words. It was the absence of everything. Not hate. Not love. Just nothing. Like I was a dream he woke up from and forgot by morning. As I reached the train station, I checked my pulse. It was steady. I was calm, more than I should be. Because when you vanish, it doesn't hurt. It just ends. I woke before him. His arm was draped loosely over my waist, like a habit, not a need. His scent, once strong and grounding, was faint, masked again. Synthetic and cold. My own scent had faded long ago, buried under layers of blockers and cheap soap that promised neutral comfort. I didn't want him to stir. Not yet, not today. I stared at the ceiling, counting the cracks. 1, 2, 6. I used to find shapes in them. Dragons. Stars. Hope. Today, just cracks. I slid from under his arm, like mist. He didn't move, just let out a breath. Not a sigh, just air. In the bathroom, the mirror didn't look at me. I didn't look at me either. I opened the drawer and took out the vial. Clear. Bitter. My body flinched before my hand did. My gland pulsed once. Not with heat, just memory. Suppressant on the tongue. Swallow. Blockers rubbed into skin. Behind ears. Inside wrists. Neckline. Gone. I packed small. One bag. No scent items. No traces. I left my hoodie, the one he used to steal during our early bond. I left the ring he gave during our heat ceremony. I left everything with my name on it, except my ID. And the fake heat record I printed at the underground clinic last week. I checked it again. Said I transferred cities. Signed with a forged mark. Clinic nurse winked at me. You sure you want to disappear, sweetheart? I nodded then. I nod now. I walked back to the bedroom. He was still asleep. Or pretending. His back to me. Same curve in his spine. Same crease on the pillow I never dared replace. My eyes moved to the mark on his neck. Once crimson bright. Proud. Now, pale. Almost gone. My mark was fading from his skin. Just like I planned. He didn't stir when I walked past him. He didn't scent the air. He didn't call my name. Maybe that hurt most. I stepped outside into the hallway. Closed the door slowly. Didn't want the latch to click too loud. But even if it did, would he come after me? No. I waited 1 minute. Then 2. My breath tight in my chest. Still no sound from inside. I walked. My shoes made no noise on the stairs. Outside, morning light was soft, like apology. Sky pale, not gold. I took a breath, hoping for wind, but I smelled nothing. Not even myself. That's when I knew I'd done it right. The train station was 3 blocks down. I kept my head low, hoodie up. People passed, laughing, moving, living. No one saw me. Good. I bought a one-way ticket with cash. No ID check, no questions. The platform was empty. I sat on the cold bench, watching the tracks. Steel. Endless. Unfeeling. My fingers trembled. Not because I was scared, but because for the first time, I was no one, no alpha, no bond, no name whispered in heat, just me, a scentless ghost with a half-healed heart. The train arrived. Loud. Late. Doors hissed open. I stepped in. Window seat. I watched the platform shrink. I thought maybe, just maybe he'd come. Maybe his scent would crash through the air like thunder. Maybe he'd grab the door before it closed. Maybe he'd shout my name. Don't go. But silence followed me. Like always. I pressed my forehead against the glass. I didn't cry. I'd done that already. 100 nights. In silence. 100 times wishing he'd turn. Touch. Scent. Something. But now, I didn't want anything from him. I just wanted distance. The train moved. The city blurred. The mating bond didn't snap. It just thinned, like a thread unraveling across miles. I placed a hand on my chest. I still felt it, faint, fading, but not gone. I wondered if he felt it too. Would he notice? Would he care? My stop came 3 hours later. A small place, quiet, no records, no memories, no mating ceremonies. I checked into a cheap inn. No questions. Paid cash. The room smelled like dust and cheap air freshener. Perfect. I took off my hoodie. Showered. Scrubbed hard. My skin turned pink, but his scent was already gone. My neck was bare. No mark. No warmth. Just skin. Blank. I stared in the mirror again. This time, I looked, eyes tired, lips cracked, but alive. I whispered, "You're free now." I didn't know if I meant me or him. I lay on the bed, thin sheets pulled over me. I didn't sleep. Couldn't. Not because of fear, but because silence echoed louder when you choose it. That night I vanished. Not with a scream, not with a goodbye, but with a breath, and no one came looking. I wasn't there when he woke up. He told me later, in fragments, in choked whispers, that he reached for me out of habit. His hand brushed cold sheets. He thought I was in the kitchen, or the shower, or the balcony where I sometimes stood too long. He waited, didn't panic, just waited. Then noon came, then evening. The tea was still warm on the table, the scent, faint, but mine. He touched the mug and whispered, "You didn't drink." He called my name once, quietly, as if unsure, then louder, then again. He searched the rooms, closets, drawers. My scent lingered, soft and empty, like skin after fever. Nothing was missing, but I was. That night he sat on the floor near our bed, head between his hands. No tears, just silence. The next morning, he checked the clinics. Thought maybe I was in heat. Maybe I was hurt. Maybe I ran to someone else. Maybe I wanted him to follow. He waited 2 days before breaking. The bond didn't snap, but it burned. Sharp, dull, unrelenting. He smelled me in his dreams. In the hallway. On his own pillow. Phantom scent. Guilt-soaked hallucination. He wore the same shirt for 3 days. The one I last folded. He didn't go to work. Didn't eat. Didn't mask. His own scent turned sour. Like metal and smoke and regret. The apartment became too loud in its silence. Clock ticking. Fridge humming. Water pipes breathing through the walls. He couldn't stand it. He smashed the mug I left. Slammed the bedroom door until the frame cracked. Shouted into the mattress. But I didn't answer. I had erased myself too well. He started walking the streets. Train stations. Clinics. Old bookstores where I used to linger. Anywhere that smelled like old paper and lavender soap. He asked strangers if they'd seen someone like me. Short, quiet, omega, eyes like rain. They shook their heads. He sniffed doorways. He lingered at our favorite cafe, sitting at the corner seat where my scent once clung to the velvet cushion. Now it was gone. He drank my favorite tea. Burned his tongue. Didn't flinch. He came home every night and stood in front of the mirror, tracing the fading mark on his neck. It was pale now. He whispered, "Don't fade," but it did. Each day a little more. The bond screamed in his chest, but my end was silent. He stopped bathing. Said he didn't want to wash me off. The scent turned thick, sour, fermented. Alpha madness is quiet at first. Not rage, not chaos, just emptiness. He started writing letters to no one, leaving notes by the door, just in case I came back. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. You were never a burden." He scratched them out, wrote them again. Over and over. He slept on the floor now. Said the bed smelled too clean. Neighbors complained. Said they heard him talking to shadows. He stopped opening the windows. Said he didn't want my scent to escape. Sometimes he lit candles. My favorite ones. Even though he used to hate them. He played our old song. Once. Twice. On loop. He pressed his forehead against the bathroom mirror, where my fingerprints had fogged once. He whispered, "Why didn't I hold you?" One night he found one of my shirts tucked behind the dresser. He held it like it was breathing, collapsed to his knees. He cried for hours. Not loud. Not messy. Just tears. Quiet. Endless. He pressed it to his face and broke. The next morning, he called my name again. Not to find me, just to say it, because the silence had teeth, and it was devouring him. His world didn't shatter in one blow. It crumbled. Scent by scent, memory by memory, until only absence was left. I heard later, he went mad. Not sudden, slow, like rot behind walls. Quiet, creepy. They said he left his job, just stood up in the middle of a meeting, eyes blank, lips cracked, and said, "I can't find him." No explanation, no reason, just those 5 words. Then he walked out, never returned. I imagined it. The sound of his chair scraping the floor. His scent confused, broken, flooding the room. I wonder if anyone followed. If anyone noticed. He started showing up at clinics. Not his own, not even mine. Just anywhere. Looking. He brought an old photo once, from before the bond, when I still smiled with my eyes. He held it up to the receptionist and said, "Have you seen this Omega?" She said no. He didn't leave, just sat there, scent leaking through his skin, wild and bitter, like burnt pine and ruined summer. They had to ask him to go. He didn't fight, just walked out, still clutching the photo, as if it would talk. He began checking train stations, waiting outside heat clinics, standing on corners where scent trails mingled. Any trace of lavender and citrus and warm honey. He chased it. Every Omega that passed made him turn. He'd follow for blocks just to be sure. Sometimes he asked, sometimes he didn't. Once he mistook a boy with pale skin and downcast eyes as me. Grabbed his wrist. The boy screamed. He let go. Didn't say sorry, just stared at his own hand, like it betrayed him. He stopped wearing blockers. Let his own scent spill wherever he went. Loud, grieving, desperate. It clung to subway poles, cafe seats, taxi doors. He carried a scarf, mine. I had forgotten it under the bed. He slept with it now, pressed it against his nose like a prayer. Said it still held my heat. I know it didn't. But I let him believe. Rain made it worse. Something about wet concrete and cold wind triggered memories. He'd stand in alleys, eyes closed, breathing like a dying man, whispering, "I smell him." But I was never there. Just shadows, ghosts. One night he collapsed near the riverside. Mud-stained, fingers digging into dirt, sobbing like a feral thing. Someone called paramedics. He refused treatment. Kept muttering, "He's here. I swear he's here." The mark on his neck, almost gone now, ached every time my name echoed in his chest. He started carrying my name in his mouth like a wound. Repeating it, begging it. People stared. He didn't care. They said he cried in public now. Not loud, but real. Like something dying inside refused to be silent anymore. He hadn't cried when I left. But now, he couldn't stop. He stopped cutting his hair. Said I liked it long. Let it fall over his eyes. Messy and damp. He didn't shave. Didn't smile. Didn't live. Just searched. They said he wrote my name on walls. On receipts. On bathroom stalls. Sometimes paired it with his. Sometimes not. "Where are you? Come back." I was wrong. He even broke into a scent registry once. Security dragged him out. He screamed the whole way. "Check again. He's in there." I know it. He wasn't. I wasn't. I'd erased everything too well. But he kept digging. Old letters. My scent samples from heat record files. Forged scent trails in abandoned alleys. He followed them anyway. He said once, "If I breathe long enough in the dark, he'll find me." But I didn't. I couldn't. Not yet. Because his search wasn't love. It was regret. And I wanted more than that. I needed more than that. But still, every time it rained, I thought of him. Kneeling. Broken. Searching a world that stopped smelling like me. He told me once that my scent reminded him of the first day of spring. I didn't understand it then. Now I think, maybe it meant I came quietly, warmed the cold, and left too soon. It was the third week after I vanished. He stopped searching with hands. Started searching with memory. He lay in our bed, mine once, face pressed against the hollow of the pillow where I used to sleep. And in that silence, in that dark, scentless room, it came back to him. My heat. The last one we shared. Not the first. Not the soft, shy one when we were new. When my body trembled just from his breath near my neck. No, he couldn't remember that one anymore. He remembered the last, the one before I disappeared. It had been raining that day. He came home late. Wet hair, heavy footsteps, silence in his eyes. I was already burning, quietly, alone, suppressing it like always. I didn't want to be a burden, but I couldn't hide it well. The air was thick. My scent bloomed through the walls. Sweet, heavy, honest. He stood at the doorway, jaw tense, didn't speak, just looked. I curled deeper into the sheets, ashamed. My heat was soft that time. Not loud, not demanding, just aching. He crossed the room, knelt. His hand touched my ankle, cold fingers on burning skin. "Do you want me to stay?" he asked. I didn't answer. I couldn't, but I didn't move. He climbed into the bed behind me. Didn't claim me, didn't mark. He just held me. His scent wrapped around me like fog. Not possessive, not tender, just his hand rested on my hip, unmoving. His breath warm on the back of my neck. My body burned, but I stayed still. And he stayed still too. That was all. That was the last heat. Now he remembers that moment again and again, and it ruins him, because he realizes now. I was waiting. I had opened myself, not just my scent, not just my heat, but my heart, and he did nothing. He wakes up at night, sweating. Glands swollen, neck throbbing, phantom scent pressing against his skin. But I'm not there. He claws at the sheets, mouth dry, body shaking. He calls my name in the dark. No one replies. His heat cycle sinks off time now. His body remembers mine, even though mine has gone silent. The scent he once ignored now haunts him. He walks past florists and nearly collapses. Jasmine, honey, smoke, like me. But not me. He opens his closet, smells a scarf I left, and breaks, falls to the floor, clutching it, pressing it to his mouth like it can forgive. He sobs, whispers, "Why didn't I hold you tighter?" His gland pulses, his alpha instincts scream for me. But the bond is frayed, one-sided, hollow. He stares at the old heat marks on the wall, scratches, faint, reminders. He remembers how I whimpered once, how I whispered, "Is this okay?" and how he said nothing, how I looked at him with too much hope, and how he looked away. Now, he would give everything just to hear my scent again, to feel my heat, to feel me tremble. But now, when his glands swell, no one answers. No scent calls back. No warmth fills the room. Just air. Just guilt. And the memory of a heat he never understood until it was too late. I didn't mean to see him. I swear, I wasn't looking. But that day, the sky was too gray, the air too damp, and the street too familiar. I was passing the corner cafe, the one with burnt coffee and cracked windows. We'd sat there once, years ago, before bonds, before everything collapsed. I didn't mean to stop, but I did. And there he was, across the road. Hair longer, messier, beard not fully grown but unshaven, clothes too loose like he lost weight or forgot how fabric should fit. He stood under the awning, rain dripping behind him, shoulders hunched, fingers twitching. He didn't see me, but I saw him. He was holding something. Crushed paper. No, not paper. It was a photo. My face. Old. Faded. Corners curled. Like he'd carried it too long in too many pockets. I held my breath. He looked up, eyes red, not just tired, ruined. He whispered something. Lips barely moved. I couldn't hear across the street, but I felt it. My name. His scent hit me even through the rain. Wild. Broken. It clung to the air like regret. I stepped back. Behind the post. Behind the blur of umbrellas and passing cars. Hidden. Watching. He stumbled forward suddenly. Almost like falling. Knees hit the pavement. He clutched the photo tighter and let out a sound. Not quite a scream. More like a sob that got lost halfway out. People walked past. No one stopped. No one helped. Only me. Frozen. Burning. My chest hurt. Like my gland remembered him more than I wanted to admit. Like my scent wanted to reach, to wrap, to answer. But I stayed still. He pressed the photo to his forehead. "I'm sorry," he whispered. I heard that one, clear, and it shattered me. I turned quickly. Walked fast. Didn't run. But each step away from him felt like cutting through my own veins. I found another street. Another alley. Pressed my back to the cold wall and let myself breathe again. My scent was trembling. Not strong enough to reach him. Not brave enough. But it still remembered. That night I didn't sleep. His eyes kept replaying in my mind. Not cold. Not distant. Just lost. And I hated that I still wanted to go back. I told myself it was guilt. That he missed the bond. Not me. That he mourned the silence. Not my voice. But then, why did his eyes search every face like it could be mine? Why did he scream my name into alleys where no one answered? Why did he cry? Alone when no one was watching. I saw him again. Another day. Another place. He sat at the old bus stop. The one where I used to wait after heat therapy. Same bench. Same angle. He wasn't waiting for a bus. He just sat there, still, photo in hand. Same one. He touched the ink gently as if afraid it would vanish if pressed too hard. And I watched, from behind the window of a bookstore across the street, clutching a worn-out book I wasn't reading. He didn't cry this time. He just whispered my name over and over, like a prayer. Or a punishment. My throat closed, because part of me wanted to answer. Just one step, one crossing of the road, one I'm here. But I didn't move. Because what if it wasn't love? What if it was just regret? What if he missed the Omega I used to be? The quiet one, the fading one, the one who never asked to be held. Not me. Not the me who left. Not the me who learned how to live without him. So I stayed behind the glass, heartbreaking all over again. Watching the alpha who once called me a burden, now fall apart searching for the ghost I left behind. I wasn't supposed to be there. The rain was heavy that night, thick, slow, as if the sky forgot how to cry and was just learning. I had no umbrella, just my coat. My scent was sealed under blockers, my steps silent in the dark. I liked walking in rain, it blurred the world, made things soft, made me disappear. Until I saw him. Middle of the street, standing there like a ghost. Soaked still, broken in the way no alpha ever should be. His head turned. And our eyes met, my breath caught. His pupils dilated, instinct, recognition, pain. I froze. The photo slipped from his fingers. It floated down, landing in a puddle, face down. But he didn't look at it. He only looked at me. I wanted to run. But my legs, they didn't move. He took one step forward, then another, and then he collapsed. Right there, in the middle of the street, knees hitting the wet ground with a splash. Palms open, face tilted upward. The rain kept falling. Harder. He didn't blink, didn't speak, just broke. I took one step forward, then stopped. My scent shifted, fear, ache, longing. I knew he could smell it even through the layers. The bond, though faint, still remembered. His mouth open, voice cracked. Dry, low. You're here. My fingers curled. He pressed a trembling hand to his chest. I thought I was dreaming again. His eyes glistened. Rain or tears? I couldn't tell. You're not a burden. I closed my eyes. That word. Again. Always that word. I was wrong, he whispered. So wrong. I shook my head. My voice was a breath. Why now? His lips parted. No answer came. Only silence. Only scent, raw, desperate, grief. I begged for you, he said, softer. Every night, the wind carried his scent across the space between us. Sharp with guilt. Heavy with longing. It wrapped around me like old sheets. Familiar, painful. I searched everywhere. I know. He looked up, startled. I stepped closer, just enough so he could see my face clearly. You screamed in the alley behind the old clinic, I said. You sat at the cafe bench for 4 hours on Sunday. You followed someone who wore my cologne. His hands shook. You saw me. I saw everything. He looked like he couldn't breathe. Then why, he gasped. Why didn't you come to me? Because I didn't know, I said. My voice cracking. If it was me you missed, or just the bond. His head lowered. Shoulders trembling. I missed you. Not the silence. Not the heat. You. I stepped forward again. Now the rain was between us, softening our scent trails, but not enough to erase what bloomed. He reached out. I flinched. He froze. Hand midair. Mouth open, apology unspoken. I'm still afraid, I whispered. You let me fade once. I won't again. The words dropped heavy, like a promise carved in bone. I wanted to die when you left. I know. I deserved it. I looked at him. He knelt there in the rain. Hair plastered to his face, clothes clinging, fingers twitching as if every muscle wanted to touch me but didn't dare. No more running, he said. I stared at him for a long time, then slowly, I stepped into his reach. He didn't touch. Not yet. Only breathed me in. And for the first time, his scent was warm. Hopeful. I whispered, don't lie this time. He choked out, I won't. The rain poured harder. But beneath it, our bond pulsed, not healed, but alive. And that was enough for now. I couldn't breathe. His face too close. His scent too loud. rain still dripping off his jaw, his eyelashes, his collar. My chest tightened like something coiled too long inside had finally snapped. I stepped back, too fast, too sharp. He froze, hands still halfway between reaching and retreating. That hesitation in his eyes, I used to beg for him to pause before hurting me. Now it was everywhere, but it was too late. My voice cracked before it formed. You didn't come when I waited. He opened his mouth. No sound came. I waited. I whispered. For days, for years. He flinched. I saw his throat move. Saw his scent shift from guilt to ache, bitter and raw. You said I was a burden. I didn't mean, then why did you say it? My voice rose before I could stop it. Why did you look at me like I was weight you carried instead of warmth you chose? The rain muffled my breathing, but not the sound of my heart shattering all over again. I used to count the hours you didn't speak to me. His eyes widened. I'd lie next to you and wonder if you even remembered my name without the bond reminding you. His lips parted. I did. You didn't. I snapped. He flinched again. I whispered please without saying the word. I curled into your side, waited for you to breathe me in. And you never did. His hand lowered. I stepped closer now. My voice trembled. You let me melt in silence. You watched me disappear from your arms before I even left. He said nothing. I hated how much that still broke me. My scent cracked beneath the rain, twisted with grief and exhausted heat that never got to burn. I gave you everything. I whispered. Even the parts that hurt to give. I know. I looked up. His eyes were wet, not from the rain. I was scared, he said. Of what? He swallowed. Of needing you more than I thought I should. My laugh was bitter. So you punished me for it. His voice dropped. I didn't know how to love right. I bit the inside of my cheek. I'd heard that before, too many times. From broken mouths and bleeding hearts. It never fixed anything. He stepped closer. One slow step. Careful now. Let me try again. I didn't answer. He placed a hand on his own chest. Over his gland. His voice almost cracked. Mate me, he whispered. Properly. This time. With choice. Not bond. Not accident. The rain softened. I stared at him. His scent burned in the space between us. Open, unmasked. Asking. For the first time, not demanding. Begging. I looked down at my wrist. The skin was faintly marked where his scent used to rest. Where I had once curled into his body and believed I was home. I still remembered the heat, the ache, the loneliness. And yet, my voice came low. Hello. Why do you want me now? He blinked. I asked again, quieter. Is it guilt? Or is it love? He took another step. Almost trembling now. It's you. He said. Not the bond. Not the guilt. You. I didn't know what I had until I felt what it's like to wake up without it. I didn't move. He kept speaking, barely breathing between words. I see you everywhere. Hear you in empty rooms. Smell your heat in strangers' shadows. I wanted to forget. His eyes darkened. But my body never let me. We stood there. Two shadows soaked in rain, soaked in scent that couldn't lie anymore. My heart pounded. My body leaned. But my soul, it still bled. I don't trust you, I whispered. His voice cracked. Then let me earn it. I'm not the same Omega. I don't want the same. I looked up slowly. He was trembling now. With cold. With fear. With hope. I don't need saving, I said. I know, he said softly. But I need saving from what I became without you. And that made me break. My breath hitched. The tears I buried surfaced. I didn't fall into his arms. I didn't say yes, but I didn't run either. And that silence was enough for now. The apartment felt smaller than I remembered. Or maybe I had grown too much in my absence. I stood in the doorway, coat still clinging to my shoulders, rain-soaked and trembling. My scent was thin, not from fear but from hesitation. It touched the air like a question, not a claim. He stood a few feet away. He didn't rush, didn't reach, just waited. The lights were dim, warm, no harsh white glow, just soft yellow bleeding across the wooden floor. The same tea candle on the windowsill, the one I used to light on lonely nights, flickered as if recognizing me. He spoke first. You can sit wherever you want. His voice was softer now. Unpolished. like he forgot how to use it for orders. I stepped forward. Slow. The floor creaked under my weight. My shoes left faint water prints. I didn't remove them yet. I needed to feel if I still belonged here. I didn't speak. He walked to the kitchen, movements quiet, made tea, the way I used to. Same leaves, same chipped cup. When he returned, he didn't offer it. Just placed it gently on the table near me, like a memory he couldn't touch anymore. I washed the blanket. He gestured toward the couch. The one you liked. I nodded. He didn't sit. He stayed standing, hands by his side. Not clenched, not stiff, just open. I watched him for a while. How the years sat on his shoulders now. How his scent didn't push anymore. It waited, lowered, like a wild thing kneeling. I don't know how to do this, I whispered. Me neither, he replied. I walked past him, sat on the couch. The fabric was cold under me, but clean. I looked at the far wall, where my photo used to hang. It wasn't there anymore. Good. I didn't want the past staring at us. He knelt down. Not close, but not far. My breath hitched. He looked up, voice low. May I? I nodded once. He reached forward. Not to touch me, but to place something in my lap. His scent collar. It was unbuckled. I stared at it. The last time he took it off was the night I vanished. I don't want it anymore, he said. Unless you put it back. My fingers trembled. I'm not the same Omega, I murmured. I know. I don't bend like I used to. I don't want you to. I closed my eyes. My scent spiked, warm, nervous, open. He felt it. I knew because his own scent wrapped tighter around him, responding like a chord strummed too hard. Do you remember? I said softly. The first time we marked each other. He nodded. It was in heat. Yes. We didn't even say anything. No. I touched my neck. Faint scar. Barely visible. But always there. I want to do it again, I whispered. But this time, awake. His breath caught. His scent swelled. Hopeful. Thick. Longing. I stood slowly. He rose too. We didn't rush. We just stood there face to face, heart to heart. I reached out first. Touched his gland. His pulse jumped under my fingertips. I leaned in, not to kiss, but to scent, to breathe him in. No blockers. No hesitation. Just him, bitter, warm, pine smoke and rain. He exhaled. A little shaky. Now me, I said. He leaned down. His nose brushed against my neck. He paused. I didn't flinch. I tilted my head. Gave him access, not because I owed him, but because I chose him. He breathed me in. I felt it, the bond reawakening. Not forced. Not burning. Just blooming. He pulled back. His eyes were wet, but not from pain this time. Are you sure? He whispered. I nodded. His lips brushed the spot gently. And then teeth. Not harsh. Not like before. Just enough. I gasped. Not from hurt, but release. Heat curled under my skin. My gland throbbed in answer. I reached for him. Marked him too. We both inhaled. The bond snapped back into place. New. Clean. Chosen. And this time, it was ours. His arm curled around my waist. Slow, hesitant, like asking for permission with each inch of movement. I didn't pull away. My head rested against his chest. His scent covered me. Not heavy like before. Not suffocating. Just warm. Settled. It moved through the sheets and through me like breath. It was still raining outside. Window cracked open. The room smelled like wet leaves, faint soap, and him. We didn't speak at first. Sometimes silence is louder than words. Sometimes it holds more truth. I felt his fingers trace circles against the skin of my back, barely touching, like memorizing me all over again. I exhaled. Slow. My gland still ached from the mark. Not painfully, just present. Like it finally remembered what it was made for. We laid there for a long time. No bond haze. No heat fever. Just us. He whispered first. You're smaller than I remember. My lips twitched. I'm the same. No, he said quietly. You stand taller now. I didn't know how to answer that, so I didn't. He shifted slightly. Just enough so we were eye to eye. His gaze didn't wander this time. It stayed. Hell, I used to think, he said, voice hoarse, that loving someone meant needing them less. My chest tightened. But you, his voice cracked. You taught me that loving someone means needing them right. Not less, not more. Just, right. My throat closed around the air. He brushed a strand of hair away from my face. I was scared, he continued. Scared to be seen. Scared to let someone that close. So I made you small. Tears prickled at the edge of my lashes. I didn't blink them away. I convinced myself you were fragile, he said, that you'd shatter if I leaned on you, that you'd drown if I fell too hard. His scent wavered, a mixture of guilt and gentleness. I called you a burden, he said, because I was the weight. I closed my eyes. His hand cupped my cheek. I was too broken to love right. I opened my mouth, then closed it. Something in my chest cracked softly. Not pain. Relief. A breath I'd been holding since the first time he turned away from me. Finally leaving my lungs. I pressed my forehead against his. I used to wonder, I whispered, if I disappeared, would you notice? His grip on me tightened. Like instinct. I noticed, he said. Too late. But I noticed. Silence again. This time I broke it. Am I still too much? His eyes didn't blink. You were never too much. I felt the bond between us pulse. Gentle now. Not demanding. He leaned in, nose brushing against mine. His breath was shaky. You were never a burden, he said. This time I believed it. Not because he said it, but because I could feel it in the way he held me. Not to own but to stay. I let out a small laugh. It came out broken. His scent bloomed in response, concerned, soft. What is it? He asked. I wiped my eyes. I don't know how to be loved like this. He kissed the corner of my mouth. Then let's learn. I nodded. Our fingers laced under the blanket. Our marks hummed faintly, not glowing, just warm. We lay there, limbs tangled, scent mixed, bond quiet. Not perfect, but real. And this time, chosen.